The short-sleeved floor-length, flat-cut cheongsam is a modernized version of the traditional Chinese dress, which has been adapted to simplify the construction process and enhance wearability. This 改良 improved cheongsam features a streamlined silhouette that skims the body gracefully, extending to the floor for an elegant drape. The short sleeves offer a touch of modernity and comfort, suitable for various occasions. It should be noted that although this is a one-piece flat pattern cutting, it has been simplified to some extent. It does not include the step of dart manipulation. Therefore, for those whose bust-waist difference is more than 18 cm and waist-hip difference is more than 15 cm, the garment may appear too large. The model in the picture here has a bust of 111 cm, a waist of 83 cm, and a hips of 98 cm. As you can see, the hips and back fit well, but here is some excess fabric in the front chest and abdomen area. Therefore, the pattern also marks the positions for front and back waist darts on the pattern. You can add waist darts as needed to make the entire cheongsam fit the body more closely. However, I personally prefer a looser and more comfortable fit. For instructions on how to print and assemble the pattern, please watch the tutorial on my YouTube channel, Studio 82 Forever. When printing, please note the following. 1. Do not auto-flip the pages. 2. Do not auto-scale. Print at 100% scale. 3. Arrange the printed sheets according to the method specified in the notes on the first page of the pattern. 4. Choose the output paper size that is suitable for your printer. 5. You can assemble the pattern without trimming the edges of the paper. For the reasoning behind this, please refer to my YouTube tutorial video on how to print and assemble patterns. Now, let's take a look at the pattern. As shown in the image, it consists of 5 parts in total. Pattern 1 is the main body. I have removed the seam allowances from the slit and the hem to facilitate the subsequent piping. I have also removed a portion of the hem to reduce the length of the skirt. For making this sample garment, I have chosen the 4XL size pattern. Pattern 2 is the collar piece. Cut 1 pair. If you opt to piping, you will need to remove the seam allowance from the top edge of the collar. Pattern 3 is a small placket for the front right. Cut 1 piece. Pattern 4 is an auxiliary pattern used to cut the front placket section after the main body has been cut. Last, the pattern 5 is also an auxiliary pattern used to cut out the neckline. Now, we will begin cutting the fabric. First, fold the fabric right side in along the warp direction and press the fold line. Then, fold the fabric along the weft direction and press the fold line. Once the fabric is smooth and flat, secure the 4 layers of folded fabric with pins to prevent any shifting during the cutting process. Pay special attention to aligning the front center line and the back center line, meaning the fold lines along the warp direction in the diagram must be aligned. Now, we can see the center line of the folded fabric, which corresponds to the length of the skirt plus the seam allowance. The center line along the weft direction of the folded fabric represents the straight line from the front center to the sleeve opening. Therefore, you can adjust the sleeve length as needed to meet your requirements easily. And yes, it is not necessary to strictly follow the pattern for cutting. Now, let's take a close look at the fabric center after we finish the folding work. This is the center point of the fabric. As you can clearly see, this is how the fabric should look after being folded in this manner. Please note that the order of folding the fabric is crucial. You must first fold it along the warp direction and then fold it along the weft direction. We will begin by cutting the fabric for the main body. Place the pattern on the folded fabric, aligning the front center line and the shoulder line, and then proceed to cut. Please note, the front center line and the shoulder line should remain intact and not be cut. Then keep the cut fabric as it is and do not move it. Next, place the auxiliary pattern, specifically pattern 4, mentioned earlier, onto the cut main body fabric, aligning it with the shoulder line and the front center line. Then cut along this curve through the top layer of fabric only. Note, start cutting from the underarm position along the pattern and continue until you reach the front center line. Then stop. Then we will use another auxiliary pattern, specifically pattern 5, and place it on the front center line at the fabric's center point to cut the neckline. Here's a note. When selecting the size of the pattern, please pay attention to the fit of the neckline, which is very important. Generally, you should choose a size based on the girth of the base of your neck plus an additional 1 cm to 3 cm. Additionally, this auxiliary pattern already includes the necessary seam allowance for the neckline, so you can cut it directly. And now let's look at the screen. This line is the front center line of the pattern. Please align the front center line of the pattern with the front center line of the fabric below. Then, this horizontal line on the pattern paper is the shoulder line. Please align this straight line with the fold line of the fabric below, which is the shoulder line too. Next, we will draw the shape of the neckline on the fabric. Please note that there is a part above the shoulder line on the pattern that needs to be opened at the shoulder line of the fabric to draw this part of the neckline on the back piece. Of course, the best way is to open the front and back pieces at the shoulder line of the fabric. then align the shoulder line and the front center line, and then draw the neckline along the pattern in one go. Okay, then cut out the neckline along the drawn line on the fabric. After the neckline is cut out, you will see that there is 1 centimeter of fabric collecting the neckline and the small pocket. Please cut it open as shown on the screen. This is the right side under placket of the front piece. With the right side of the fabric facing up, cut one piece along the edge of the pattern. Now we proceed to cut the collar piece. Given that the cheongsam collar requires a rather stiff structure, it is necessary to iron a single-sided interfacing onto the wrong side of the fabric before cutting. For enhanced comfort, you may opt to iron a stiffer and thicker single-sided interfacing onto the wrong side of the outer collar, while for the inner collar, a lighter and softer single-sided interfacing as illustrated can be used to improve wearability. Additionally, the collar height of this pattern is set quite high. For those with a fuller figure, you may consider reducing the collar height appropriately to increase comfort. As shown, we place the pattern atop the fabric and cut out a pair. Now that we have finished cutting all pieces, we proceed to overlock the edges of the fabric that require it. Please note, the edges that need binding, such as the hem of the cheongsam, the slits, the cuffs, the right side seam of the front piece, the edge of the right under placket, and the upper edge of the collar do not need to be overlocked because they will be bound. Additionally, there is one more thing to pay attention to. Since the front and back pieces are cut together, you need to remove the seam allowance from the right side seam of the front piece, and only remove the seam allowance here. The edge does not need to be overlocked, as indicated by the arrow in the figure, which shows the right side seam of the front piece. Please note that I have made a mistake here as an example. I forgot to remove the seam allowance at this part and directly overlocked this edge. Sorry. Of course, I corrected this in the subsequent steps, but it was not filmed, so I want to remind everyone to be careful about this. This is the fabric after the binding has been completed. Here, I would like to mention the front and back waist darts. Firstly, this style of cheongsam adopts the traditional Chinese flat cutting method for one-piece garments, but simplifies the process of shaping and easing. Therefore, for those with a significant difference between their bust and waist, or between their waist and hips, the garment may appear too loose. As a result, I have marked reference darts on the pattern at the position for the front and back waist darts. If you feel that now you need to add some front and back waist darts before we proceed to the next step, you need to mark the position of the darts according to the pattern and sew the front and back waist darts in advance. Please note, although darts are ended, the style itself is not the very fitted Western cut, so the size of the darts should not be too large. They should just be enough to show some curves. Additionally, when selecting the size, choose a size of pattern that is relatively fitted according to the standard of adding 3 cm to the bust measurements, 4 cm to the waist, and 5 cm to the hip measurements for sewing. Now, we sew the bottom placket and the small placket on the right side of the front piece. Then we stitch the side seam of the right bottom placket to the side seam of the right side of the back piece. The length of the bottom placket will be slightly longer than the slit. You can choose to either remove the excess seam allowance from the side and finish it with bias binding or trim the extra length of the fabric. Now we begin to construct the stand-up collar and attach it to the neckline. First, we need to iron a strip of single-sided fusible tape onto the wrong side of the fabric at the cut-out neckline to prevent the neckline from deforming. Then, we place the 2 collar pieces right sides together, sandwiching the neckline section. Please note, the outer collar piece is the one with the thicker single-sided interfacing ironed on, and its right side should face the right side of the main body. The inner collar piece has a softer and a thinner single-sided interfacing ironed on, and its right side should face the wrong side of the main body. After aligning the collar pieces with the neckline, sew around the neckline. During sewing, ensure the stitches are even and avoid excessive pulling to prevent the neckline from deforming. Next, flip the collar pieces up so that the wrong sides of the 2 collar pieces face each other, and press the neckline area to set the shape. Finally, do not forget to baste the 2 collar pieces together to facilitate the subsequent edge finishing work. Next, we will begin the process of binding. You can purchase ready-to-made binding strips, preferably with a width between 0.7 cm to 1 cm. If you prefer to make your own, you can watch the binding strip tutorial video available on my channel. Start by sewing the binding strip to the right side of the cheongsam. Then, hand stitch the other side to the wrong side of the cheongsam. Special attention should be paid to the binding at the slit to ensure it is neat and tidy. Here is the simplest method for handling the binding. Sew the binding strip to a point 1 cm to 3 cm from the end of the slit. Then fold the binding strip as shown and press the fold. Next, press the binding strip flat towards the direction of the slit as illustrated. Finally, sew the side seam up to the slit. To ensure to secure the slit and prevent it from accidentally opening while wearing, you can use an additional bar tag stitch at the slit. The final step of the process is sewing on the buttons. Traditionally, you will need 10 pairs of buttons. You have the option to purchase ready-made Chinese fabric frock buttons. Alternatively, you can make them yourself by following the video tutorials available on my YouTube channel. As shown in the illustration, typically, one pair of buttons is placed at the collar, another pair at the front opening, and the remaining 8 pairs are evenly distributed between the top of the right side seam and the slit on the front piece. If the fabric you are using is quite soft, you may also opt to use only pearl-shaped buttons, complemented by hand-sewn thread loops made with a bar tack stitch, as seen in this sample garment. This video tutorial has come to an end. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message or email me at info@studio82patterns.com. You can purchase my sewing patterns on my personal website at www.studio82patterns.com or www.studio82pattern.com. Studio 82 is dedicated to designing and creating sewing patterns for a variety of ethnic and historically inspired garments. In the world of sewing, Studio 82 Patterns is with you every step of the way. I'm Elaine Ying, and happy sewing. See you next time.